My man, it has, like, literally, this has been, yeah. Let's give him a hand, ladies and gentlemen. This has been the longest week in a while for me, and it's simply because, and I remember this statement you made last week that made me laugh so hard. You said, hey, I'm just looking forward to a week where I don't have to measure the temperature in Kelvin. Yeah. I'm like, yeah, this has been
warm
killer,
out.
dude.
It is warm out. Hello again, everybody. Yep, Aaron coming to you from Fisher, or I'm not in Fishers. I'm in Warfleet. Evan is in Fishers.
Are you doing, like, are you having, like, a astral projection
well,
moment for us?
Look, I used to live there. Sometimes want to be back there just for the roads.
Hey, there you go.
The roads are much smoother. Right at the top of the show, I want to address something real quick. The Egyptian pharaoh in the room. Last week. Yeah, where's our?
Yeah, we both like, yep. Yeah, we've been on that one.
Last week, if you watched us and made it more than halfway through the show, good on you.
Oh, man.
But while discussing I believe it was Group F,
yes,
predictions and possibilities for the World Cup, we talked about Belgium, Canada, Morocco, and Croatia, and very casually and very confidently, I mentioned that Mo Salah plays for Morocco. And folks, I honestly, I wish I could say I was like reading something right beforehand that mentioned him. I don't know what. Yeah, you noticed that we do drink on this show, so it was possibly that. But I have no explanation. It was just brain went somewhere else. I know Mo Salah plays for Egypt. I know Egypt didn't qualify for the World Cup. I even watched the CAF final and the World Cup playoff in which they got beat twice on penalties. And Mo Salah missed. I think he missed a penalty, at least one of them.
Laser
folks, I'm
pointers,
sorry.
dude. Laser pointer. Come on.
I'm sorry. I've friends who are Egyptian, friends who are Moroccan, and I can tell the difference. Mainly because one's a lot taller than the other, but still, just my bad, folks. I know better. I made a mistake. Doesn't change
Aaron,
my prediction. Morocco's not going through.
And here, and to be fair, okay. I did also say that Hakeem Ziyech was the reason why I'm picking Morocco. He actually has. He had at one point opted out of playing with them. I think that they're trying to negotiate to get him back on the team, but it's not a done deal. And so I'm chalking it up to the wonderful malted beverage that we consume quite a bit, my friend. So
yes,
that's what I'm going with.
Indeed. So cheers to that.
Yeah. Ooh, oh wow.
So
man,
moving on to things that are actually happening right now. Mm-hmm. There are multiple tournaments going on, and have just completed or are about to just begin. But a vast majority of them are women's tournaments.
Yes.
Women's Month has passed, but this is truly going to be a month for women to be center stage. Close to home, we've got the CONCACAF Women's Championship going on.
Monterey.
U.S. got out to a good start against Haiti. We'll discuss that in a minute. Mm-hmm. The UEFA Women's Tournament started today as well. And that was England versus Austria at a sold-out Old Trafford, which is
that's
just
amazing,
awesome.
Dude. That is amazing.
We'll talk about that game a little bit, and then I believe the women's CF African Cup of Nations has begun.
Oh, okay.
Yes, I believe
I thought it was next week.
Oh, is it next week? My fault. I'm trying to look it up because I don't want to get it wrong. I just knew that it was coming up. My internet is fast.
Oh, your internet. My internet is fast. Oh, no. It started yesterday,
yes, it has
my
started.
friend.
It has started July 2nd through July 23rd. So
There you go.
get on livesoccer.com. I'm pimping them out because I use it all the time to get the latest and greatest on what time all of those games in each of those tournaments will be kicking off and what networks you can watch them on. I know that pretty much if you get Fubo, you get a lot of access. I don't know anybody who has that. It seems kind of expensive.
Yeah.
The Women's Euro was on ESPN2 today, and I think they're carrying a variety of games.
Cool.
And obviously the U.S. women's national team is typically either on ESPN or FS1. I can't remember. I think it's Fox has the CONCACAF tournaments. So be sure to catch those. Evan, you're wearing the U.S. jersey.
Yes, I am.
They have stars above the crest.
Yes.
And
going for 5, baby.
What do you think about the U.S.'s performance so far? And do you expect them to kind of walk through CONCACAF here?
So, answer to the last question: no, I don't expect them to walk through. I expect them to win. I think that is probably something that a lot of people expect. But two things I want to say. Number one, I love the fact that the U.S. women's team, they do not rebuild. They just literally reload. There's so many incredible young women coming out of that squad right now who are cementing their spot as far as starting. Obviously Christy Mewis is there. She's kind of sophomore-ish, junior-ish type person. But you have Purse playing in the middle who scored from a beautiful, beautiful cross from Rapinoe. I love the way this squad looks. Yeah. I really do. This squad it's as good a squad as any, in my opinion. As far as the women's team has fielded. The second thing is everybody who said that, and I want to preface this, okay? I want to preface it. Alex Morgan is 33 years old. But I've heard so many people say, "Oh my gosh, is she getting too old? Is she getting, well, when you start." I need people to get off of Alex Morgan's nuts because yes, I get it. I get it. We played, was it Haiti that we played? Yes. I get it. We played Haiti, but she is such a dominant player, dude. I mean, she is amazing to see how she works in the box, see how how she's there and everything that's going on. I mean, she is a formidable player, and it's one of the greatest, if not possibly the greatest, to set foot on the pitch for the U.S. women's team. I'm saying it. I'm just saying it. How old is
she now?
33. She's 33, okay. Man. And I think we saw what she can continue to do despite getting older. That's my take from that match. I think that the U.S. did what they had to do. I love the game plan of bringing in, Mewis and Rapinoe and, a couple of other, would-be starters. I love that game plan of bringing them in the second half to kind of control the match, and that's exactly what they did. Rapinoe showed you what she could do with fresh legs against semi-fresh legs. And I think that's a huge thing to take in consideration going into the World Cup in a couple of years. So,
well, every team needs to have veteran players of, quite a few varieties. I mean, sometimes you just want to have a player there because what their personality brings to the team, and they may not get a lot of time, but they're very integral. That last season or so at Chelsea, John Terry was playing far less, but he was around for a very specific reason because he was still a leader. And I think Rapinoe is going to remain a leader even as her minutes shrink because, her powers are waning. She's visibly a bit slower than she was, but she can still drop dimes on people.
Oh,
and I guarantee you she's a really, really, really pivotal voice in that locker room. When it comes to Alex Morgan, I mean, look, as long as she shows up and contributes to goals on a soccer field, she's showing her absolute value. And that's the beauty of a player that gets older and understands, the changes that do occur. Cristiano Ronaldo is the exception to the rule. But
True.
you look at a guy like a Ryan Giggs, who was known his entire career long as being a, speedy winger, trickster out on the wing, would take you apart. In the last few years of his career, he was largely playing a much more central role or as a withdrawn forward, very much controlling the game, simply because he'd developed that level of experience. And I think you're going to see more of that out of both these players. Rapinoe is going to be playing, she still wants to get up and down that wing, but what she's really going to be good at is dictating the pace of the game. And Alex Morgan is going to be probably a little bit more withdrawn, but as you said, there's no rebuilding. They just keep coming. They just keep coming through. We've got so many top-level players that are making a name for themselves. I mean, I would love to have Ayo come and discuss more about that top 50 list because, the best women's players for the United States were the youngsters. I mean, I think Alex still made that list, and I think there were only 6, but I think the rest of them were all, they're coming through, making a name for themselves now. Mm-hmm. So, I think that's been the beauty of this team. And I think the leadership of players like that will let the younger ones know, hey, you do have to evolve your game, develop your game. You can't, people have closed the gap on the United States. We are not head and shoulders above everybody the way we used to be.
Right.
But, hey, Brazil, Argentina, Italy, Germany, France. I mean, these are classic men's national sides that we know of for a reason. They're the ones that have won multiple World Cups. And as the rest of the world has closed the gap, as the United States and Mexico and Japan and Korea and some of the smaller European teams have managed to close the gap, they're still on top. Those teams are still up there. So the U.S. is following that same mold of keep bringing them through. This is our process. This is how we do, and we will evolve as we need to. So future's bright. I do think we're going to probably waltz through CONCACAF here. Definitely going to qualify for the World Cup.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So, it's exciting. It really is exciting.
Yeah. I just want to shout out the one – actually, no, I don't want to shout out, but the one thing I wanted to mention is that the ability to calm the entire team that Megan Rapinoe has. When she got that, I think she was delivered a ball actually by Purse. I think Purse tried to give her the ball back on the left side, and she played it a little long. And 99 out of 100 players, I don't care if you're a man or woman, 99 out of 100 players would have just, the play would have been dead. She stopped on a dime, turned around, and calmly found Purse. For me, that, like I said, Alex Morgan's 2 goals, awesome. She deserved them. She deserved them. But that one right there showed, like you said, the leadership, the poise, and the calming ability that a leader like Rapinoe has on the pitch to say, okay, yeah, I may have missed that or I may have messed that up, but keep coming because I'm going to find you. And I think that is a key element that other clubs, like you said, yes, the U.S., you know what, the gap is getting smaller. But the U.S., they're doing all the right things to make sure there's still a gap.
Yeah.
I mean, it's uncanny to see these young ladies play, and I enjoy watching them. I really do, man.
Well, I'm looking at the current roster right now, and it is a perfect mixture. I think there are a lot of women who can play to what would be considered later stages than men can, simply because of the difference in the wear and tear on the bodies, and just the nature of the game itself, right?
Right.
Even the physical side of the women's game is nowhere near as nasty as the physical side of the men's game gets. Notwithstanding some really fun videos on YouTube.
Right.
But I'm seeing plenty of people on the left side of 30. And we've got Becky Sauerbrunn at 37, and we got Megan Rapinoe at 37.
Mm-hmm.
But Becky's the captain and still doing exactly what she needs to be doing out there, and she's bringing in the youngsters really nicely.
Yep.
And look, even in the last World Cup, Megan knew her body was not going to be able to play all of those games.
Mm-hmm.
So she understands. She seems to understand the role that she has, and a big part of that is helping these young ladies develop into tremendous women on and off the field. And, Megan Rapinoe and Simone Biles put up for the Presidential Medal of Freedom Award, the highest civilian award in the country.
Mm-hmm.
And, somebody had the audacity to, ask what for. And
I saw that.
Some people just can't be explained to. I don't quite get it because they are elite level athletes that are doing more than just their sport, and I think that says a lot about them. So, I'm gonna choose that person was just literally asking what for. In that, anyway, these athletes deserve us to watch their matches. Which, by the way, tomorrow night, I think at 7, the U.S. women's national team's in action playing Jamaica. So, guys, gals, listen, we need to be watching this because, once again, if you want to see really good soccer in one of Aaron's favorite venues, Monterrey. Well, they're not in Monterrey yet, but that's where are they? Are they playing in Monterrey? If they're playing Jamaica, I somehow doubt it. Although, I mean, I got to be honest. This has to be a home and away.
Okay, yeah. You're right. They won't play there but eventually, because both of us predict that they'll be there. Guys, this is going to be a great CONCACAF for the final, dude.
The finals in Monterrey?
I think so.
I'm not aware of that. I don't see. I'm woefully underknowledged, if you will, as to the complexities of this particular competition because I do mainly watch the World Cup.
So I'm going to show you something.
We haven't had the opportunity to watch a lot of games like this. I mean, if you think about it, it's awesome that this is happening and the way it's opening up. The fact that it would have been unheard of not that long ago that the game was even on TV to watch England versus Austria in the Euro today.
Right.
And now it was on ESPN2 at 3:00 in the afternoon, like a good World Cup game, like we should be watching right now instead of having to wait till fucking November. But sorry, it's not for kids.
That's all right. Hey, I'm going to share this with you as a hype. Okay, this is what we're talking about, ladies and gentlemen. You have to get hype with this. Here we go.
It's that time again. The quest for a 5th star begins now. And the road to Down Under goes through Monterrey, Mexico. Some of the legends are still doing their thing.
A hat trick for Alex Morgan!
But the next generation is looking to add their names to the history books.
Pew! Smith has the hat trick!
And this summer, the stakes are sky high. As your U.S. women's national team competes to qualify for the World Cup and the Olympics. We know how hard it is to win on foreign soil during qualifying.
I mean, it kicks it off. Going to Paris and then going to the World Cup. Yeah.
And in Mexico, we'll be battling more than just the competition on the field. The crowds, the elements, the expectations. 8 teams, 2 chances to qualify. 1 nation, 1 team. Here we go. 1, 2, 3.
There you go.
Is that tomorrow night, you said?
I think it's tomorrow night. Thursday? Or is it...
I'm looking for it.
Friday?
I want to be good.
So, but yeah, no, these guys, let's see. Yeah, tomorrow at 7, playing Jamaica. And then Monday, U.S. versus Mexico. Oh,
wow.
man. That's
nice.
going to be huge. Monday at 10 p.m.
You know, I spoke too soon about live soccer because, I'll be honest, I use their app all the time, but their website's terrible.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that takes us to our next section. Last week was supposed to be a short show, Aaron, so I'm going to try and keep us within task this week. That brings us, unless you want to talk about the women's team or anything like that anymore, that brings us to, I believe, the halftime shot, my friend.
All I was going to say is that I did watch England-Austria today.
Yes.
And England are one of the favorites for the tournament. Austria gave them a little bit of trouble. They certainly did not just completely dominate the match. They certainly had a lot of possession, but they did get exposed a few times. I think they'll expect to play a little bit better. It was a good goal, came early, came through a lot of good early pressure. England just came out of the blocks hot, but it just didn't really continue to eat up the field the way you would have expected them to. And I think they're going to be disappointed in the performance. Austria can come away from it thinking, hey, that really wasn't that bad. If we'd had taken maybe one or two of those opportunities that they had a little bit better, could have come away with at least a point. So, you know, I think mainly you see that what England tries to do and how they, you know, pin and hold position on the field, and they just didn't really do it in the way I've seen them perform before at previous World Cups and things like that. So let me real quick,
Okay.
because I think early on, let's see, yes, tomorrow there's one game, Norway and Northern Ireland. And then they start 2 a day from that point on.
Okay.
Spain, Finland, Germany, Denmark. That should be a pretty good game. Portugal, Switzerland, Netherlands, Sweden, Belgium, Iceland, and France, Italy taking you into the weekend.
Wow.
So, yeah, some big matchups early on. We'll see how they all handle it. It was on ESPN2 today, so I would encourage you to look similar places. Probably on the ESPN app would be a good place to look as well, because I'm guessing Wimbledon is going to take precedent as they move toward the semifinals and finals here.
Sure.
Some good matches.
Yeah, man. I've actually got my eye on that Friday, July 15th, 3 p.m. match. Northern Ireland versus England.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh, that
it's like
might have some fireworks that day. I need to step away real quick. I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah. I tell you, it is amazing to see all the matches that are going on. And ladies and gentlemen, we are now at halftime.
Hard to get a shot without a shot.
Yeah, you got to do a shot, man. You got to have it. My halftime shot has to go to, Ms. Blue, who is home rehabilitating, or as she says, a la Tupac, convalescing.
Yes.
She is convalescing right now from a surgery, and she's doing well, kicking ass, and she's doing great. So to Ms. Blue, here's to you. What do you got for us, my friend?
Well, you know, I think I'm going to punt a little bit and just say, first off, to her, I know that was a tough one. That's an invasive surgery. So best speedy recovery. Hope everything goes well. Dig the new cart.
The cart.
You get toys when you get hurt. It's kind of fun.
Well, we named the walker. Well, I put forth, she has to use the walker. I said, why can't we name it Street?
Ooh, I like it. I thought Mabel just because it sounded
there you go.
Fun,
but anyway,
fun
sorry. Go ahead.
But this is to all the women out there competing in these tournaments. It's amazing that they're finally getting the spotlight that they deserve. There's been more confederations following in the U.S.'s footsteps as far as the pay equality, and it's going to make a huge difference toward the professionalism of the women's game. And, I can remember when, the NBA didn't have the aura that it has now, that they didn't show, playoff games in real time. They'd be tape delayed. It did not have that. So all of these sports take time, and it's a shame that the women have always been behind in this, but it is amazing to see it finally getting there. And, hopefully it continues, and hopefully along those lines, we can start to figure out how to bring Brittany Griner home.
Yes, absolutely.
Because this is a travesty, and no matter, she's being used as a political pawn, and it's unfortunate. So to all the women out there on the front lines doing it in sports and getting in trouble for it, this one's to you.
All of y'all are Wonder Women.
Damn right.
Slanky. See, this is the part of the podcast where we start going wrong. It's like, why don't the 76ers bring Julius Erving in off the bench? I mean, my God.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Well,
man.
along those lines, then, is it time for World Cup Group G analysis?
It is time.
Okay.
It is time. Yeah.
Group G this week consists of Brazil, Serbia, Switzerland, and Cameroon. Evan, I'm going to let you go first because I have some interesting, strange-ish thoughts here. But I want to let you go first this time and see who you've landed with.
Okay. Let me pull up my good old qualification chart because I want to make sure that, that I'm represented correctly here because we're betting on this thing, man. I'm just saying. Okay. Please, if you would, my friend, read through that again.
Brazil, Serbia, Switzerland, and Cameroon.
Excellent. Well, I think the obvious one here, you've got Brazil. And Brazil is going to make it in. They're going to make it to the to the elimination round.
You would think.
I think I would know. Yes. I don't see them not making it. I just don't.
Right.
Brazil is going to be there. So we'll just leave it at that. I am having technical issues, my friend.
Uh-oh, what's happening? I can still see you. At least you haven't disappeared on us the way it happened on the previous platforms.
I apologize. Those people who are listening in, I'm like,
Evan's still here. I'm
still here.
I can see him right now.
I'm still here. Okay, we're back.
And we're back.
That was crazy. But like I was saying, Brazil, yes, absolutely number one. They're going to make it. So it comes between Serbia, Switzerland, and Cameroon. And my gut says Switzerland. My gut says Switzerland. They're a kind of a classic team. The Swiss, sometimes they make it, sometimes they don't. But they've been there. It's totally different whenever you have a team that has been there and has been able to compete in the second round. Serbia, I just don't. I don't see them having the firepower. I don't see them having the opportunities. To create. They had a nice win against Sweden. But I just don't see them doing everything they have to. If they get now, if they can call back, I think it was in November of 21. If they can go back and play like they played against Portugal, they've got a shot. They have a shot. My heart, Aaron, my heart wants to see. I think they would be the first African team to not make it to the elimination rounds because that's been done before. But I'd like to see Cameroon be that Cinderella story. You know what I mean? That story where people are like, "Oh my God, we didn't see them. We didn't even think they would do anything." Yeah. But I would love to see them. Think about this. Let's just go through this real quick. So Cameroon plays Switzerland first match. If they can draw with Switzerland, that would be huge. That would be absolutely huge. Then they play Serbia. If they can win against Serbia, okay, then they have to play Brazil. And if they can channel the Cool Runnings Jamaican vibe, kind of. And once again, I'm going way out with this. I would love to see Cameroon. What a great story that would be. I mean, Cameroon just doing their thing and coming out and performing and doing what they can do. And I would love to see them be able to do something like that. But my gut is telling me that it's going to be Brazil and Switzerland. I want to go on record and say,
all right, we're going to lock you in, Brazil and Switzerland.
Brazil and Switzerland. But my heart is really sad with me right now. It is, it's very sad. So, my friend, what do you have?
The only team that is considered more of a betting lock to win their group than Brazil is England. So, pretty confident. They've played really well. They were undefeated in qualifying, really looking strong. So ultimately, for me, it's going to come down to matchups. And I think Switzerland is probably a better team overall against other teams than Serbia. But if Serbia can figure out a way to beat Switzerland, I think that will be the deciding factor. Cameroon's really, really struggled. They didn't qualify last time around and didn't get a point in the previous 2 World Cups.
I know.
And it's all about momentum, We keep going back to this. And they they qualified. They had some decent results, but they kind of got, I'd say, the luck of the draw a little bit. And... they ended up getting through after.
You call playing Brazil lucky? Holy sh!
No. I mean to get to the World Cup.
No, I got you.
They needed extra time. An away goals rule kind of thing. I mean, they're not exactly brushing aside their own competition in their own region. Never mind what they're going to run into here. Right. And they might get a result against Switzerland, or they might get a result against Serbia. I think they're going to struggle badly against Brazil because they're just not going to see the ball. The big question mark for me for Switzerland is they've relied so much on Granit Xhaka and Xherdan Shaqiri, and those guys are getting older. And Shaqiri's, I think Shaqiri's in the MLS now. Are they getting the level of competition that they need to do that? And, he's been a game winner for him. He's done some great things. I actually really, really like Xherdan Shaqiri. I really always liked him. Like his style. I'm a sucker for the left foot. And he's one of those dudes that just kind of plays with joy, and I like that. I don't know. The thing is, are they going to have the legs for the tournament? And Serbia's big problem, you hit it on the head. It's all about firepower. They're going to rely a lot on Mitrovic to score goals.
Yes.
And he can be a big gamer. Can you be a big gamer for all 3 straight to get him through to the next round? I just don't think so. So I'm largely with you. I think it's going to be Brazil for sure. So I'm going to lock that one in. Yep. You can't see it, but I just did. I typed it into my Excel spreadsheet, everybody.
Excel, ladies and gentlemen.
No way we can change that ever.
Hey, Mr. Gates, if you'd like to sponsor the show, I'm just saying.
Right. Well, pardon me while I restart my computer. And I'm really struggling with this one because I do believe it comes down to the game between Serbia and Switzerland, and I'm inclined to say that Serbia beats Switzerland. I think Switzerland is. Okay. I think they're the better team. I think if you ask me, put them up against 5 other teams, who's going to do better, I would probably lean Switzerland. But I think it's a matchup problem. I think Serbia is going to try to get physical with them. And
good point.
You know,
good point.
if you can, you know, bully the guys who want to be on the ball to not want the ball so much, might be able to get, might squeeze out a 1-0 kind of game, and then, Serbia will probably beat Cameroon, or it'll be a draw. And then, it's going to be results elsewhere. How bad does Brazil beat each team? Is it? If they go off, run up the score 4 goals on somebody, all of a sudden you've dug a hole. So no matter how good you do in those other games, you're still, your goal differential is negative. So I could really see this coming down to, the finest of margins of points and stuff. So you know what? I'm going to go for it. I'm going to say Serbia. Serbia goes through.
Okay.
I think it's their time to get beat in the first knockout round game.
Okay. Hey, no, that's great.
Let's see if I'm looking at it correctly. So it's A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. So Serbia will most likely finish in second, and they will play the winner of Portugal, Ghana, Uruguay, South Korea, and I don't believe they can beat any of those teams. And in fact, I think next time we gather, we're going to be talking about the real group of death of Portugal, Ghana, Uruguay, South Korea, because may not, none of those may be favorites to win the tournament, but they're going to beat each other up.
Yes. So that was the question from one of our listeners. Is this the group of death? At least from the standpoint, there's no clear number 2. Any of the three others could take it. So you're saying, I'm not sure that this is the group of death, Aaron. I don't think it is. I think this is a group of. I'm going to say it. I'm going to lump Brazil in there because Brazil has been kind of like this. Maybe the group of mediocrity.
Yeah, I'd put it more that way. I mean, it depends on your criteria for the group of death kind of thing. I get what you're saying there, Troy, because it really kind of is open. Yeah. I think where I would draw the line is that Brazil are a clear favorite in this group, whereas I look at Spain and New Zealand or Costa Rica, Germany, Japan. If it's Costa Rica, I could legit see anybody winning that group. It's probably still going to be Spain and Germany as your favorites, even though I did choose Japan. You still have to look at them and how strong they are. Portugal, Ghana, Uruguay, South Korea. I mean, how are those teams in 4 different pots? I look at all 4 of those teams as being not quite first tier, but could cause you problems. They've all gone deep into tournaments in recent years. Yeah. They've all taken some serious scalps. They've all looked good doing it. The problem is I don't see any of them with the real ability to win the World Cup. So I would hesitate, and we'll get into that the next time we meet to really go through Portugal, Ghana, Uruguay, South Korea. Whereas I could see a team coming out of the Spain, New Zealand, Costa Rica, Germany, Japan group. I could see them going on a long run. Even Japan. I could see Japan, if they get the luck of the draw, they run into the right type of teams, they could go deep. So, it's all about your momentum. It's all about your matchups. Again, I go back to what we were talking about, Serbia, Switzerland. I'm picking Serbia because I think they're going to win a pivotal game. I think Switzerland's a better team, but there we are, folks. So Brazil, Serbia, Brazil, Switzerland. Check back in November. We'll see who's right.
There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for that part, my friend. That was awesome. But allow me to introduce us to the next phase, which is the Hey Aaron phase.
Allow me to reintroduce Hey Aaron. Not monetizing this one. Not monetizing this one.
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
Also, big shout out to the local. Big shout out to the locals.
Yes. So, ladies and gentlemen,
the official mascot of the show.
Oh no! Here we go.
You want to say something, baby?
Oh, hey, Coda.
Hi, puppy.
Hey,
now
hi.
Go. Now go. Daddy's got a show to do.
Now go.
Daddy's got a show to do.
Got a show to do.
No.
So now we are going to talk about, during the Hey Aaron segment, we're going to be talking about some transfers and some purchases and all that good stuff that our respective clubs have done. And we are going to talk about The ladies. Before we mention the ladies, I do want to say
the ladies.
Yes, I do want to say Raheem Sterling, welcome to Chelsea. Christian Pulisic.
Bye, Christian.
Yeah, Christian Pulisic. You know what, man? Good luck, brother. I love you. But that happened. Yeah, that happened there.
Well, just real quick, I won't go deep on it.
Yeah, no. Go ahead.
I think it makes sense for all parties involved. Raheem Sterling, never really been one of Pep's favorites, so he was, you could see it leaving. He's proven with what he can do. He's a good buy for you guys. He's better than Christian. Could Christian get to that level? Possibly.
Yeah.
But I think Christian's physical kind of hindrances, it's a physical league, and he's not quite got the durability. So if he can be the make weight for De Ligt, it's good for everybody. He gets to go to a top level team still. He'll play. The league will suit him much, much better. He'll find more space, more time on the ball. It's just not quite as physical. And you'll be able to replace Rudiger with potentially a guy who ends up being better than him. And he's certainly young and can be developed in the mold that you really want him to be. And I think Tuchel will enjoy both of those factors. So I think it really does benefit everybody.
I do
but
too.
The second I saw that, I thought, that's probably the end of Christian Pulisic's time at Chelsea. And as a Chelsea fan, that's got to bum you out. As a United States fan, I think it's better for Christian. So
yes, no. As a Chelsea fan, I will say this. I will say, it's tough being a Chelsea fan and a, USA, obviously, USA fan.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, for Christian, I think he's going to get a lot more playing time in a somewhat less physical league.
Yeah.
For as a Chelsea fan, I'm like, dang, we're giving away
Captain
America. We're giving away Captain America, and it's like, dang it, but
absolutely.
But I can see, what Todd's trying to do. But anyway, let's focus on the ladies here. Today, ladies and gentlemen, Katarina Svitkova joined the women's team for Chelsea, the Super League champs. And I'm very excited about that. But at the same time, I'm trying to. Oh man, this is what happens whenever, whenever you plan for the best, but the worst always comes out. I'm like, dang it, where did my stuff go? But at the same time, Manchester United had a great signing from the same team. Both of these young ladies came from West Ham. Had a great signing of Adriana Leon, who I think will help Man U's women's squad incredibly well. Aaron, what I want to ask you tonight for the Hey Aaron segment is I want to ask you, when will we get there? Are we there yet as a society to give these female athletes the due credit that they are deserved? I mean, these two young ladies have played phenomenal this past year, helped West Ham to play well and to compete. And now they are looking to go on to, and I'm not saying that West Ham is not a big squad because Premier League, but they're going on to more storied franchises, I guess you could say. Their talents are going to be on display. This is just a small section of the women's game that is taking hold around the world right now. Where do you see us in 5 to 10 years as far as soccer is concerned, as far as women's influence in the sport? And do you think we're at a place that in America we can give, and this is almost a loaded question, and I'm giving you a softball pitch here, given what legislation has gone through. Do you think we are in America in a place to where we can give women their just dues whenever it comes to sports and athletics, specifically soccer?
We're at an interesting point in time because it is the level of exposure that the women's game of soccer specifically is getting. But I'd say women's sports in general, WNBA is on all the time now. That they're on the cover of NBA 2K. Alex Morgan is a household name. Megan Rapinoe is a household name, and for more than just being a soccer player at this point. So from a, compensation and notoriety, I think we've entered a new time. Coda is determined to be on this broadcast one way or another tonight.
Well, I mean,
because clearly there are people walking by that should not be allowed to be walking by.
There you go. She's like, I'm for the ladies. I'm for the ladies.
But it's weird to juxtapose these times to think that it's 2022 and we're talking about watching the women's Euro on cable TV here, easily accessible. The CONCACAF women's, the African Cup of Nations women's, WNBA, all of that, and yet our own country has been set back at least 60 some years by some ridiculous decision. So I can't imagine. The absurdity of the times that we are currently living in has never been lost on me, and we've been talking about this in some form or another since you and I began doing this, a few years ago, in a different format. But if you'd have told me that this was coming, I would have simultaneously been very, very saddened by it, but not altogether shocked because of kind of where we are culturally. So on the one hand, I think it says great things about where we are amongst a certain group of people. Unfortunately, the level of respect that should come with it and the level of support and cooperation. Brittany Griner may have broken the law, but if LeBron James had been silly enough to bring CBD or hash oil through an airport in Russia, he'd be home now.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it speaks volumes to what we place value on. And this country has consistently come up short in a lot of measurements, certainly for people of color, certainly for women, and certainly for women of color. So, it'd be really, really hard to pin this on a graph somewhere. Like, how do you be like, hey, 76,000 people showed up to watch women play a football match at Old Trafford, but they don't have bodily autonomy in the United States. It's really strange to me, Evan. And sorry for those who don't like their sports to get political, but I believe they've always been intertwined, and you have to look at it through these lenses. It's weird. I think the simple answer to your question is it's great. It's absolutely great that they are getting this level of exposure, and what it really means is this next generation of little girls gets to grow up believing, getting to look at somebody who looks just like them. Yeah. And they can say, I can do that. I can be this person. And that's phenomenal. And hopefully enough of them, get into positions of authority and drag the rest of us into the fucking 21st century.
Man, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to Aaron. Thank you, man. That was sobering. It was amazing. I appreciate you for that. Yeah, exactly. So, ladies and gentlemen, we have actually reached the end of our show, which gives another opportunity to my friend Aaron to kind of send us out with some good contemplative vibes, depending on his mood. So I just want to say, hey, you know what? Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for tuning in. If you have any input, if we made any more mistakes that we don't know of tonight.
Well, I never worked in the joke that I think Cameroon is the dark horse of the tournament because they can bring in Mo Salah off the bench.
So with
Just
that,
and that's a joke, and
Yeah,
you
it's
should watch the beginning of the show.
yes. So, ladies and gentlemen, with that, I turn it over to my dear friend Aaron for Aaron's final thoughts. Aaron, what you got for us tonight, my friend?
What I got is a little bit of a throwback to where we were with the old show, and that is we just celebrated the 4th of July, and it's supposed to be a time of remembrance and celebration of those who came before us and allow us to say and do things like having this show that in some places wouldn't really be allowed. We make a lot of comments here that I bet Putin and Duterte and people like that probably wouldn't allow to go on, even as trivial and silly as we are. I mean, we don't have 10 million listeners, and we're not swaying popular opinion just yet. We'll get there. But
there you go.
It is something to remember, but it's weird to, offset that with some of the things that have happened recently, Supreme Court decisions, at a time where people were supposed to be celebrating. We had mass shootings over the weekend. We had a horrific one not that far from us in Highland Park in Chicago. Yeah. And for those people who casually dismiss it and go, oh, well, that's Chicago, you don't have a fucking clue what Highland Park is. Highland Park is like Carmel. It is a well-to-do neighborhood. This wasn't what you would call thugs shooting each other up. This was another, you guessed it, pissed off white guy with access to an AR-15 who went on a goddamn rampage. And there's a 2-year-old child who lost both parents in a matter of seconds. And it's really, really hard. I love this country, and to paraphrase James Baldwin, I love this country so much that it's my obligation to point out when it's not doing things right. And damn it, people, we're not doing things right. There are good things. We can point to a lot of positives, and we shine a light on those. But damn, until we take care of the worst of us, that's all we are. And I hope that anybody who listens and hears this and agrees with this point of view turns around and says the same thing to 5 other people, because this isn't a message of hate. I'm not hating on anybody. I'm saying we have to come together, heal the wounds, heal the people that are hurting for whatever reason. I could sit here and talk for hours about what a ridiculous ideology this person must have had and why they feel this way. But if they'd have felt love in this world, I somehow doubt they would have resorted to this level of violence. And it happened all across the country. We had multiple mass shootings on America's Independence Day. And does anything smack of America more than the concept of that? And man, it is long past time for us to stand up and say, we are better than this, because we believe we can be. This is a great experiment, and it is on all of us to help make it come out the way we would like it to. And that doesn't mean demonizing everybody with an opposing viewpoint. I can do that too.
That's right.
I'm really, really good at some of that shit. But you know what? It's when I find common ground. It's when we are able to talk about why we love Manchester United or hate Leeds. It's connections. It's human connections, and people with human connections, they don't go out and do things like that. Certainly not on the level and the regularity that we have in this country. So I will leave you with this. If you can hear my voice, I love you, and we need a whole lot more of that in the world. So I appreciate you yet again tuning in. Catch us on all the platforms. Please like, subscribe. Please interact with us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Riverside, Spotify, wherever you catch us. If you see us out on the street, say hey to us. We're going to try to get some merch going, I think. I think that'd be fun.
Yeah, I think so.
We're definitely going to be more frequent at Chatham and doing some shows, and hoping you join us there as well. And, folks, I appreciate it. I will now step down off this high horse and
hit that theme song, brother.
Rest of my night. So, it's crickets.
It's crickets. Not the crickets. Not the crickets. Oh no! See
not the crickets.
What happened?
Not the bees.
Ladies and gentlemen, oh, we love each and every one of you. Listen, hashtag Black People Vote. Hashtag Aaron.
Say again.
There you go. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Evan and Aaron Show presents the Red and the Blue Soccer Chat. Holla at ya, boys.